This is my audience. When I was in high school, I was on the soccer team. When I was on the soccer team, we did the routines and drills were hard. They were hard enough to whip a 312-pound 17-year-old into a 225-pound 18-year-old soccer player. I'm Nicholas Dehner, and I was that 312-pound 17-year-old. I'd like to educate you on soccer training. When I wasn't on the field, I was also the equipment manager and training aide. We always like to do warm-ups, drills, and cool-downs. In warm-ups, drills, and cool-downs, they're all equally important, except for you should always start with a good warm-up. A good warm-up to start with is stretching your calf muscles out, and you get into a push-up-like position, and you would put one foot over the other, and you would try to have the foot stretched as forward as possible with your heel trying to touch the ground and have one leg over the other. I will demonstrate that for you right here. When stretching out your calf, it also helps to have extra weight onto your leg, onto your foot, and that's why I put my one foot over the other to put extra weight on it. And another good way to stretch out your thighs is toe touches, and you should start in this. You can start with the center toe touch, and that will help get your both thighs at the same time. Then you can start with your left, go to a left toe touch, and that will get your left thigh, and you can go to your right toe touch, and that will get your right thigh. And with doing that, helps loosen up more of your legs and stretch more of your legs out and getting everything flowing, getting all your blood flowing, and having more oxygen running through your body. And also getting your back, stretching out your back is very important as well, because you use your back a lot when running and performing high endurance events. So stretching out your back, you would get down like this, like this. Then you would take one leg, and you would arch it over this, and you would take your back and you would rotate it in the opposite direction of where your other foot, your arched foot is pointing, until for 30 seconds or until you have fully stretched out your back. And you do it the opposite way around as well. And then once you fully stretched out all of your other muscles, you should go on a half-mile jog. And once you've did a half-mile jog, once you've completed your warm-ups, you should move into drills. A good drill is a mock game. With a mock game, you can have up to 4-on-4, 4-on-5, or 5-on-5. It's just to help you assess what your skills are and what your weaknesses are, and help you improve both on what you need on just teamwork in general. Suicide drills. Suicide drills are basically a sprinting repetition. With suicide drills, you would start from here off the field, then you would go to the 6-yard mark right here, then you would sprint back, and that would end repetition 1. For repetition 2, you'd sprint from off the field to the 18-yard mark, then you would sprint back, then without taking a breather, you would sprint back to the 6-yard mark, and you'd sprint back to the out of bounds. And from there, you would take a breather, and you'd go for the third repetition. You'd sprint out to the 50-yard mark, and you'd sprint back, then you'd sprint to the 18-yard mark, and you'd sprint back, then you'd sprint to the 6-yard mark and back. And that would, for beginners, that's sufficient for suicide drills. And then another good stamina building drill is hills. And with hills, you're running up and down a hill 15 to 30 times without stopping. And if you don't have a hill, stairs are a good substitute to, because you're essentially doing very similar very similar activities with it and running up and down them. Just be careful not to trip on the stairs and fall down the stairs, because that could potentially lead to hurting yourself. And passing drills. In passing drills, you can have, within the center circle of the field, it's 20 feet, and with that 20 feet, that's or coming closer for sufficient passing drills. You can shoot from, with 2 people you can pass back and forth. With 3 people you would have one person right here at one end of the circle, you'd have one person in the center of the circle, then you'd have another person at the other end of the circle, and you'd have this person right here shoot to the center person, and they would return the ball, and as soon as the center person returned the ball, the person on the other side, the opposing side, would pass the ball immediately back. And then another good drill is headers. A header drill. With header drills, you can have up to, you can do it by yourself, which you would want to throw the ball up vertically, as vertical as possible. Then once you've and you want to, with doing that, you can get good control, and you can just get practice of placing where the ball hits your head. And when it hits your head, you want to try to have it hit from your hairline to where your eyebrows start, and from there, because that's a hard part of your head, and that you won't be injured from it, because you could sustain serious injuries while doing headers if it hits the top of your head or the side or any other part of your head, pretty much. And doing you can have 2 people header practice, which is you just basically practicing with another person. It's getting closer to a more in-game experience. And then you can have a third person where they're just tossing the ball in for you guys at a height and different speeds, and that'll give you very similar to a in-game experience. Penalty shots. With penalty shots, you shoot from the point on the dry erase board, and from that point, the opposing team, they can have a human wall. And with the human wall, they can't move, but they're just sitting. They're basically just standing there, trying to block you from scoring a goal. And with that, with the penalty shot, you're learning how to shoot around that wall and just shoot around that wall and get in the goal. And with that, also stay hydrated, because throughout all of the stay hydrated throughout all of your exercises and training, because if you don't want to be dehydrated, that could cause you to get sick, and that's not good. So for cool downs, what would be good to do is do a slow jog, do a slow recovery jog, which is about another 2 laps, but you're jogging at a much slower rate than what you did with the warm-ups. Then when you stretch out all the muscles that you stretched out and that you used during your drills. And with stretching out, you also want people to shake you out. With shaking you out, they literally take your legs and your arms, sometimes your arms, and they literally just shake them. They would grab you at your wrist and your ankles, and they would just shake your body. With doing that, it moves lactic acid, which is lack of oxygen through the blood, which just builds up from you just working out, because it pushes your blood through at different rates, and your body's not used to it. It's used to having it at a resting rate, and it'll help stop pain and soreness. And with once you've done that, time to hit the showers and call it a day, because you've completed your warm-ups, drills, and cool downs for the day. And I would like for you to, for this, the warm-ups, drills, and cool downs, they help you with the basics, and they help you maintain a good, healthy soccer player physique. And this is the basics for becoming a fit soccer player.